For my science fair project, I tried to extract DNA from green split peas and tried to see what soap, dish soap, or laundry detergent worked best to do that. How I did that was mixing green split peas, cold water, and salt together, sort of like cooking, and then adding a certain kind of soap, putting it through a strainer, and then adding meat tenderizer as an enzyme. Then when I poured the 91% isopropyl, when I poured the rubbing alcohol on top of my DNA cup, when I poured the rubbing alcohol on top of the cup of DNA stuff, the DNA floated up into the less dense material because the DNA floated up into the less dense material. What I thought would work best was the peppermint Castile soap to extract the DNA, but it turns out that that one actually worked the best, or that one actually worked the worst to extract DNA, but the Johnson & Johnson's baby oil worked the best. And so my conclusion was that that Johnson & Johnson's baby soap worked better than all the other soaps that I tried out of 6 different soaps. And that's basically what happened in my science project.
There you go.
Okay. I wanted to figure out what brand of paper towel could absorb the most water until it tears. Like my statement of the problem, I found out that Viva, this is the brand that I buy at home, Viva didn't work very well at all. It took 0 drops of water, this one, it's Viva. And
I found out
because I would add weight to the end, and then I would just add the water when I held it, and I actually found out that Bounty
and then I also
worked the best. And our school's brown paper towels worked the best too. They tied for 5.6 drops of water.
So
and
because it's hot air
I used for my future study. That means that I want to do something that has to do with paper towels but different. So I wanted to find out what kind of liquid would make a paper towel tear faster. So if you were like cleaning up a mess and you wanted to see which one would work the best. So our school's brown paper towels, you know how everyone like hates them? They're like cardboard. That's why they tear like not as well as, see this one, if you take it like this and you just tear it, it's hard to tear.
The ice is frozen water.
And
ice appears in
this one, it's like soft, so if you just pull it, it tears right away.
Like sliding off the road.
This is Bounty, they tied for the best. See, this one's kind of hard to tear.
Ice acts like a sheet
and this is Ultra. Ultra works pretty good. It took 2.2 drops of water. And I thought it would take about 30 drops of water, and it actually took 5 to 10 drops, 1 to 5 drops of water, and I thought it would take 30, so I was way off. But that's what hypotheses are for. Hypotheses are things that you guess how your experiment will go, but sometimes you're wrong and sometimes you're right. But I was way off. So I hope you guys learned stuff about what brand of paper towel you should buy. You should buy Bounty. We buy Viva, which is the worst one. So you should probably buy Bounty.
That they should hook up hair dryers to stuff. So I did an experiment on which variable melts the fastest. I turned it with hot water, Coke, salt, compressor spray, and a hair dryer. And my results were that the hair dryer worked best, then Coke, then hot water, then salt, and then iced spray. I thought that was really cool that Coke melted ice one of the fastest. My procedure was to get 1 ice cup from the freezer, put down the melting ice materials, and see how long it would take. The materials I used were water,
We were going to do it tomorrow during music and discuss this in my still want to.
pencil, stage, dry pan, hot salt, microwave. timer.
Organize everything.
I thought that was really cool because Coke is just a pop, and it was even room temperature. It wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, so that was really cool. Ice is in many things, like snowflakes, hail,
Let's not go later than
ice water and stuff. So I thought that was actually really cool. So
the file cabinets.
yeah. My conclusion was the hair dryer was bad. I was surprised that salt didn't melt ice the fastest, and I thought if they put down hot water, the snow plows, it would just make more ice. And then if they put down Coke, it would take a lot of money. Ice the fresh spray, that would be a lot. And hair dryers, they would move really slow, so I see why they use salt now. So I thought that was really cool that I found out that Coke melted ice one of the fastest. I'm Eva, and I did my report. I did my science project on betas to see which cup they like to go in most, the plastic cup or the clear plastic cup. For my hypothesis, I thought that it would be the red cup because in the wild they live in rice fields, which is gloomy. And the red cup, because it's dark, is kind of gloomy too. Then my research also shows that it's the red cup that actually worked the most. So yippee, my hypothesis was correct. So you can see the clear cup was gone. The clear cup was gone. The beta went in the clear cup twice, and a beta went in the red cup 6 times. So obviously the red cup won. And as you can see here, I have a bunch of pictures of betas. Only 3 pictures are mine of the betas that I had. They come in different varieties and species. Males are much prettier than the females. The males are pink, yellow, cheetah pattern, all different kinds. And then, while the females are gray and brown. So that stinks for us. But they still can come in different species. A nickname for the betas is Siamese fighting fish. And the reason they're called Siamese fighting fish is because in the places that they live, people would put 2 betas together, 2 male betas together, and have them fight till their death. The females and the males can be put in the same tank without them attacking and killing each other, which is good. So, yeah, that concludes.
You like popcorn? Well, popcorn's my favorite snack, and I wanted to find the best way to make the least amount of popcorn kernels left when I pop them. So the substances that I used was I soaked some kernels in water, I put some in a freezer, I put them over a heating vent, and then I put them under a light bulb. So after I left all the popcorn kernels overnight, I put them in a popcorn popper, and I found out what happened, or how many kernels were left on top. So right here, it shows that the ones that I put under a light bulb only left an average of 3 popcorn kernels left, and the humid air left on average 2.5, water left 40.5, the freezing air left 8, and the ones at the control only left 7. And then I found out that the ones, like, interesting facts about the ones that I found was the water ones. They kind of unfolded, and most of the kernels were just burnt. The freezing air, they were pretty big, and they tasted the best. The humid air ones, they were just small and crunchy, and so were the light bulb ones. And then the control was just regular popcorn. But I thought the light bulb ones would leave the fewest amount of kernels left because I thought it would kind of preheat them, and that's how popcorn pops. So overall, the best one that worked was the humid air.
Do you like to eat Jell-O? How about gardening? Have you ever tried to combine the two? Well, for my science fair project, I grew plants from different materials. What I did is I grew plants in Jell-O, paper towels, flour, foam, and soil so I could compare them. I thought that all the plants could grow, but only some of them could continue growing, which I knew that soil could, which it did. And I found out that the Jell-O, it didn't work because it had too much noise or too much mold. And then for the paper bags, it grew well, but it started to die because it didn't have enough air, because the bag had to be sealed. And then for the flower, it hardened after we watered it, so like it's like rock solid. So the plant's still not strong enough to grow through it. If it was a different type of plant, maybe it could be possible, but it didn't work for me. And so in the foam, only one of the 3 plants grew, and you can kind of see that it grew in there a little bit, and in the soil it obviously grew. So, do you have any questions? Thank you.
Okay, here is what watercolor absorbs the most heat, and I had lots of colors, and black and clear water absorbed the most heat out of them all. Black, I know why it did, because it is the darkest out of them all. Clear, I did not know why. That's a big question I have to answer sooner or later. And I thought black and dark red would attract the most heat, but it's black and clear water did instead. I think my mom, Mr. Solars, and that's who I think, and my sisters too. And my independent variable is when I wanted to test different watercolors, and my dependent variable, I want to keep the same thermometer, same water, how many water droplets I'm putting it in, and how many pieces of watercolor I'm putting in. And they all stayed at 80, except for clear water and black went up like a little faster than the others to 80 degrees. Because I had one lamp and it wasn't enough heat, so I added 2 and it was enough heat. So these ones went up slower, like orange, red, dark red. They went up slower than clear water and black. And that's about it.
So I wanted to see what would melt ice the fastest, and I tried hot water, I tried Coke, salt, ice defroster spray, and a hairdryer. I found out that the hairdryer melted ice the fastest, then the Coke, which I thought was really cool, and then I also found out that then it went hairdryer. So in the hairdryer, because it's hot air against regular, but I didn't know that Coke would melt ice fast, and I even did room temperature, so I thought that was cool. Well, right here I did the review of literature, and this is it. Have you ever wondered how to get all the ice melted? I wondered, how does my ice melt faster? In the winter, it appears after you shovel all the snow, you get ice. I see people putting down salt and all kinds of stuff. Which one's hard to test? The ice is frozen water. Ice appears in snowflakes, hail, and also ice sculptures. Ice can be very dangerous in many cases, like sliding off the road in a car, slipping and breaking a bone, or many more. Ice acts like a sheet of paper, and people don't even know it's there half the time.
I thought it would take about 30 drops of water.
The average results for each independent variable are as follows. Using hot water melted ice, the average was 5.6 minutes. The Coke's was 3.3 minutes, and salt 5.42 minutes, and a hairdryer 2.5 minutes, and ice defroster spray was 5.6 minutes. So I thought that was really cool, and I thought now that they should hook up hairdryers to stuff like snowplows. But then they would have to move really slow. If they bought Coke, that's really expensive. If they did salt, if they did hot water, it might make more ice.
and now I can see why they use salt. So I hope you enjoyed listening, and now you can see what would melt ice the fastest and why they use it. Thanks. Action.
Have you ever met anyone with a food allergy? Well, guess what? I'm lactose intolerant. That means I can't have milk. Lactose pills that I experiment with help people like me have things that have lactose in them. In my experiment, like while I was doing it, I took a bunch of different pills and grinded it up. And then I took lactose, as you see in this picture, and mixed it with water and put them in different cups for each pill. And then I put the pill in the cups and stirred it up. And then I waited 15 minutes for it to work. Then after 15 minutes, I took a glucose test strip like these, and I put it in the cup, and they turned a different color. And based on the color it turned, I found out which one worked the best to convert lactose into glucose, which helps people digest them. So the ones that turned a darker green would work the best because that was on the code, and it said that darker green worked better. And then the ones that turned yellowy, kind of light green, did not work the best. I thought that Lactaid was going to work the best, but it ended up that Lacto and Lactaid worked the best. These two worked the best because they turn the darkest green. So I found out that Lacto and Lactaid worked the best, and now I'm going to use Lactaid. And you can see on the graph that they worked a lot better than the Pharmax powder, and then they worked better than all of them, but it still worked. Lacto and Lactaid worked the same. Any questions? Okay. This was my experiment. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about my experiment, and I hope you like to want to do a science experiment.
Hello, my name is Charlie Swoboda, and I want to tell you about my science experiment. Ooh. Before I start, I want to tell you an interesting fact. Did you know if you don't have a sense of smell, you can't taste anything either? That's why your nose is really important. Okay, so my experiment was on, well, you can't see the words up right now, but what did people's faces look like when they smelled 8 different smells? And these smells were, okay, I can, air freshener, oh, I wish I had it on the table. Air freshener, vinegar, perfume, Epsom salt, pine sol, fennel seed, cilantro, whole caraway. Okay, what I thought was everyone would hate all these smells. Just all of them, just on average, and but what I found out was that Epsom salt and fennel seed were the 2 most liked, but they weren't really liked at all. As you can see, my graph is going downwards. Thank you for listening to my science experiment.
Hi, I'm Eddie, and my science fair experiment was which toothpaste works the best to take out stains. The toothpaste I used were Tom's of Maine, Arm & Hammer, Crest, Fresh, and Colgate. I thought that Tom's of Maine would do the best because it's the only natural toothpaste. Also, I thought Colgate would do bad because it has a thing called whitener in it that doesn't make take out stains very good. And the Crest did the best. Thompson Maine and Colgate tied for second. And then Algo Fresh came in third, and Arm & Hammer came in last. And the stains I used was caramel, chocolate, and red sauce. Bye.
Okay. Hey, want to hear my science? I'm Nicole here, and my science fair experiment was about paper planes. I thought that when my small paper airplane, not seen here, would fly the best. And I also thought my medium-sized plane would fly the second best, large-sized plane would flunk. But after I did my actual science fair, my actual experiments, want to know what I found out? The large plane was the second best flyer, while the medium plane stunk. So, my results only half supported my hypothesis. So, over spring break, I might do two more experiments about why the medium-sized plane didn't fly so well. Was it the weight of the paper, or was it the folding pattern I used? And that is my science fair experiment. Thank you.
Hi, have you ever been playing with the little Hot Wheels cars when you're racing down the ramps? The next time you do, you should use the taller ramp, and this is why. I need to find out if the height of the ramp affects the distance that the car travels. So I set up my ramps on the cups and drove the cars down. The farthest distance was 71 inches with 4 cups under the ramp. And did you know that Hot Wheels made a real-size version of one of their little cars, drove it down a 100-foot ramp, and broke a world record? Okay, thank you. Bye.
Hi, I wanted to know, for my science fair project, which cleaning supply is the best to get stains out. So, I decided that I was going to use Dawn, Windex, Tide, and water as my 4 different cleaners. And when I cut out my strips, they had been stained with mustard, orange crayon, A1 steak sauce, and blueberry pomegranate juice. When I washed everything, after I washed them, I had people in my class and Mr. Solars judge the cloths on a 1 through 10 scale, and these are my results on a graph. Dawn worked the best with 6.08 as an average. Windex was in third with 5.08. Tide was in second with 5.585. And water was in last at 1.79. The reason that I chose Dawn is because in the oil spill, they used that to clean off the animals, and you also use that in dishes. And I chose Windex because it makes windows really sparkly and clean. I chose Tide because you usually use that on clothes. And I chose water because I was thinking, well, maybe all the chemicals and all the other cleaning supplies is going to make the stain get worse. Obviously, that did not work. So, when I was washing here, I saw that Dawn was working the best. And, yeah. Here are some things after they've been washed. And this is probably what it would look like if all these stains were on a shirt. And when I was researching, I found different types of stains. There's water-based, oil-based, and protein-based. In water-based, it's food, beverages, and salad dressings. Oil-based is butter, cooking oils, makeup, and crayons. And protein-based is milk, eggs, and blood. There's probably tons more different kinds of stains, but those are just some of the 3 that I found. And so that's pretty much it. Yeah, so used on.
Hi, I'm Red, and I wanted to figure out the best bubble solution. So, I went online and looked to see what previously the best bubble solutions were. And I came out with sugar, dish soap, water, and corn syrup. So I put all those together, but it didn't work. It just made like a bubble the size of my thumb. But that wasn't good enough for me. So I went to work experimenting and figured out that the best bubble solution was water, glycerin, non-alcoholic beer, and dish soap. And that seemed to work. I got a bubble really big, probably bigger than me. I'm exaggerating though. And here are some pictures of bubbles, but I didn't make them. This is my inspiration, the guy with the hat, right there, if you can see. And what I used in all experimenting is glycerin, sugar, corn syrup, dish soap, water, a straw, a table, a cup or a bucket, a pencil, info recording chart, and non-alcoholic beer. So, thank you, and if you want to make this at home, please just ask me for the recipe. Thank you! Peace!
My science fair project was to find out which fruit out of tomato, kiwi, apple, lemon, orange, and pear had the most juice. I thought that the orange would have the most juice, but the tomato did. It had 48.5 milliliters of juice. What I did was I blended all the fruits after I made sure they all weighed the same amount, and I strained them through cheesecloth. Then I put them into a test tube and measured it. So apple had the least with 22.5 milliliters. Kiwi had 24.5 milliliters. Pear had 29.5. Lemon had 31.5. Orange had 35. And tomato had 45 or 46.5. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, I'm Sean. I did a presentation on paper airplanes, and you can see pictures of paper airplanes. And I did a presentation on paper airplanes because I like to play with paper airplanes. And my presentation was on the type of paper affect the distance the paper airplane flies. And it actually did, because wrapping paper flew 5.5 feet. Notebook paper flew 4.5 feet. And construction paper didn't fly that far at all because it was too heavy to fly at all. If the paper is too light, it will fly good, well, and then if it's too heavy, like construction paper, it wouldn't fly that far. So